Welcome back, guys. As I was saying, this is a best of one, and it is on the research station. In the top spawn position, from All In, who is currently all-inning, it is the purple Protoss, that alliteration, Canary. He is all-inning. I'm just like, bam, man.
Oh, indeed. And his opponent getting cheesed, but thrown down the pool first. It is 440 Gaming's SoLJeRVictuS, the orange Zerg. And Canary showing his best of one chops, busting out the Proxy 2 gate. But SoLJeRVictuS decides to scout. He's in the main base, doesn't see any pylons or anything. He's like, I wonder.
He's like, what the crap?
Oh, no, there's no Nexus in here. I know what you're doing now. And yeah, I mean, his spawning pool isn't done yet. But I mean, yeah, this is a much better situation to be in than like Jaedong the other weekend playing against Gung Fu Panda, going for like hatch first to gold, and then another hatch at the outside natural, and then a pool. Like, this is just a much easier hold.
Yeah,
it's still possible to lose. I mean, fighting these zealots really early on is difficult, but with the spine crawlers going up now, he's actually going for 3 spine crawlers. Wow. So yeah, he should be
Not
fine.
really in a great position either. Well,
yeah,
for now,
the 2 are kind of off to the right, and they're really just protecting the spawning pool. But and like a couple drones, I mean, you can micro them over there at least. But if those are your only 2 spine crawlers, I'd be really worried.
Yeah, 2 zealots though coming into the main, 2 more zealots on the way being chrono boosted, and this is pretty much it. I mean, you can pull drones, but 2 zealots are pretty strong. The spine crawlers are not quite done yet, and these drones want to engage next to the spine crawlers. It's their only hope of living, and finally now they can. And it's going to require a little bit of micro, and dang, that's a long distance. That range 7 distance.
Hasn't gotten anything done. He hasn't killed a single drone.
And there's a
now
queen
the spine
up.
crawlers are repositioning. There's a queen up. And I think Canary is done. Like
4 lings and a queen, 3 spine crawlers. As long as if Canary could just maintain, if Canary can hold this in, which he probably could for like a minute or 2, he should just take a natural and like get a wall up and leave.
Well, I mean, he can hold that ramp for as long as SoLJeRVictuS decides to not uproot one of his spine crawlers and reposition it so it can fire at the ramp. And if you move it just north of the gas geyser, it'll actually be like if you move the far right spine crawler over to there, then it'll be covered by the other 2, and then that one can shoot the ramp, and then Canary just has to like run away, and then you run your lings across the map, and that's game. But SoLJeRVictuS is doing fine right now, so he's in great shape. He didn't lose a single drone to that double gate, so he's got this. He's got this so easy. Oh, he's actually got the drone across the map still. He can proxy hatch in the natural, the Protoss. Oh man, that could cause some real problems. With the forge coming down, I don't know if that would actually go up. It's still just going to be really annoying.
Yeah, as I was saying, I mean, maybe pretty much what Canary can do is he can contain for a very long time, but now there is no wall. Or I mean, there is a wall, but it's not quite a pure wall here. There can be a surround on these zealots for Canary, and Canary's trying to find an angle. He could go for the spawning pool actually in the back, but sorry, he could go for the spawning pool in the back, but I highly doubt it. Looking for a hatch and couldn't kill it. I just started choking right there. I'm not sure on what, but
yeah, it's funny. You started talking, so I was like, oh good, he's gonna talk. I'm about to choke, so I had to mute to cough, and then you started coughing.
Yeah, I don't know, but actually,
so he might actually get the pool
down the spawning pool, and on the other side of the map for Canary right here, he does almost have a wall up. This could be really, really big. If he can get the pool, that's gonna be monumental. But I mean, I don't know if he can quite do it. There's too many queens, too much DPS coming down. There's a spine crawler. The lings are getting just so much damage. That is 6 or 7 zealots. So I think there's.
I really don't know if I like the decision there to fight the lings, because it gave him time to reposition a spine crawler and for the queens to whittle away those zealots. I mean, you're gonna lose all the zealots there 100% of the time, so you might as well sacrifice them to deny the pool, and that doesn't let your opponent start ling speed. It denies a fast layer, roach warren, any of the tech options that you get from spawning pool, which is all of them. And now Canary is just losing his gateways across the map. And this one zealot's tucked in a nice place, sniping some lings, but Canary's in a lot of trouble. This is rough. I'll be really surprised if Canary's able to bring this back.
Yeah, man, that last zealot that left from the gateways was like to the other zealots, like, no, come with me, and the other zealot, save yourself, go, and yeah, he's gonna die. He's gonna die a very terrible zombie death where all the zombies just like fall on him and like he's still got the shotgun and he's shooting, but now he dies. And I mean, the other zealot did get away, and it's actually there's no way to get in. But there's so much surface area. He could have made this wall so much better if he intended on just completely walling off, but I don't think he did in the beginning.
Yeah, that first pylon was kind of an emergency pylon that he built in his main, so it was really too close to the wall to actually build a functioning wall here. But yeah, with the 2 cannons and the zealots, that's a fine wall until there's lots of roaches out. But I think here, if I'm Canary, I wait for that expand to get up, and I just rush to like a Stargate, and get out like a Void Ray and an Oracle maybe, and just try and buy time, because you got that in-base natural, so you don't have to worry too much about attacks. Like you can just hold your ramp, and like sentries will be wonderful for that. SoLJeRVictuS is gearing up for this attack, and like I said before, I'm going to be really surprised if Canary wins this game. SoLJeRVictuS is just in great shape.
Yeah, probes being transferred down to Canary's natural. The same thing for SoLJeRVictuS here. Queen's working on those breaks, trying to get as much as they can. I love the creep spread being started by SoLJeRVictuS and just trying to get as much as he can, trying to get that third base up. And he also is going roaches to boot. Lair is on the way. And roaches are actually coming. Actually, Lair is like 60 seconds away. But roaches are finally starting to come out. Now, you were saying with these zealots that the point at which these zealots don't work is with roaches. And I mean, roaches are coming now. There is one sentry with 1 force field, maybe 2 by the time the roaches get there. But for now, it's looking a little bit pretty scary for Canary, and he really hasn't chosen a tech path. That actually, as I say that, it's Stargate. But he even out of that, I mean, you could go Mass Phoenix, you could go Stargate, you could go Oracle. He really hasn't quite chosen his path, and SoLJeRVictuS will scout it.
Yeah, I would love to have seen SoLJeRVictuS go for like a double gold expand. Like instead of taking the in-base natural, just go for the gold and the gold, because once he has the Lings out on the map control, and he cleans up the 2 proxy gates, the Protoss isn't going to be able to move out and do anything to you for minutes and minutes and minutes. Like we're approaching 11.5 minutes into this game, and Protoss is just now getting a Phoenix. Like that's going to be his first unit besides his mothership core that's able to actually go out on the map and scout and see anything. And like it would be like just now with the mothership core that these gold bases would be under fire, but you get your queens there, and SoLJeRVictuS would be in much better shape. But instead, just playing really conservative, which is kind of what we saw against Canary in the very, very first series. So it doesn't really surprise me. Just droning up the natural, not taking too many gases, but to get the roach speed on the way. And I think once roach speed is done, he's going to be able to just walk over the Protoss.
Yeah, definitely when roach speed is done. We now see Canary actually Void Ray Immortal. He may be able to defend for a little while. There's 2 Phoenixes out now. It's key with these Phoenixes. They have to snipe the Overlords. It's just a period. They got to snipe as many Overlords as they can, and yes, he will start doing that. Roach speed is only about 30 seconds away. Actually, 40 seconds, as I say that. And a third base now is finally being started for SoLJeRVictuS. Even if he can't quite break this Protoss, he's going to be in a fantastic position. And the Protoss, yes, 2 base works for a very long time, and actually has enough probes to go for a third base, but I mean, he still has to break down this wall and move through it, which isn't too hard in theory, but there is, he does have to be very careful about when SoLJeRVictuS moves out and whether he can hold if there's an all-in.
Yeah, the real problem for SoLJeRVictuS here is that drone count. SoLJeRVictuS has 36 drones to 52 probes. Canary's probe count is great, and now he's adding on a whole bunch of gateways. With these couple of mortals and void rays that are going to be out, I think he's just going to overwhelm SoLJeRVictuS, and it's just because SoLJeRVictuS hasn't made any drones. Like a few minutes ago, I was like, "Oh man, Canary can't win this game. There's no way." But that was assuming that SoLJeRVictuS decided, like, "Oh, I have minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes of time before Protoss can do anything to me. I'll just build drones and drones and drones and drones." But instead, he's built like a couple of roaches and then not really made any economy. He's just now starting to drone up, really, but he's still so far behind, and with the massive amount of gateway production, I'm afraid that SoLJeRVictuS is going to look like he's going to survive that first attack for a wave or 2, and then he's just going to crumble and die, because his economy is, like, so far behind, whereas there wants to be at 15 minutes now.
I know, but it is 50. I mean, they're both in the same amount of workers. Obviously, it's normally that as a Zerg, you want to be on more bases than your opponent. Maybe not necessarily workers, but as you're saying, it is. I mean, this is going to be very, very scary. There's a big warping of sentries coming. SoLJeRVictuS will not be able to get up into the main, no force field yet. And at least the Lings do spot this force moving out. Now the Phoenixes, as I was saying before, they have to get some damage on the Overlords, which they are, but there's beautiful creep spread for SoLJeRVictuS, so even though those Overlords are gone and he does not have their extra supply, he does have some nice map control and he can look around for a little while, and he will get a preemptive notice of this attack. There's 15 Roaches prepared. They do they have roach speed? Yes, they do have roach speed, and this is going to be really up to Canary's force fields. He does have the double immortal though, and I mean double immortal, double void rays.
The void rays
is beautiful. Yeah, double immortal, double void ray is going to be able to kill like all the roaches very quickly.
With the war prism to reinforce, and he's up in army supply, and now he's got 3 immortals in this attack. Even with the creep spread and the hydras, like there's just not enough hydras and queens here to deal with this really. And with the force fields that are going to come out, with the time warps and everything, I think Canary is going to walk away with this game here now. And that's all because of the economy. And that hurts. This engagement starts. Nice transfuses on that queen. Force fields boxing out a lot of those hydras, though. In this fight, as long as the sentries don't expose themselves too much, this is just, it's going to spiral out of control really fast for SoLJeRVictuS. Like he's inflated his army supply a lot now with roaches, but his worker count is still really low. And if Canary keeps up the pressure, which it looks like he's deciding not to do,
he can't. He lost his warp prism and he lost his mothership core. He cannot teleport out. He went double time warp. The time warp were very defensive. They were not aggressive. They did not stop the attack speed of SoLJeRVictuS. And there's no warp prism. And to boot, I mean, he's going to lose one of these immortals, maybe even a void ray right here. A nice force field, but I mean, Canary has to be so careful. He cannot keep being aggressive. He's got to regroup. But once he regroups right here, he may be able to push back across the map if SoLJeRVictuS does something wrong. And also, Robotic Space is on the way, so I mean, maybe some Colossi, but this has given Canary the time to take a third base, which, as you mentioned, and as we were talking about before, I mean, if you're on the same amount of bases, you're not in a good position as Zerg.
Yeah, Zerg, like, especially, it really hurts me because of the potential economy that SoLJeRVictuS could have had. He's doing okay now. His main is kind of mined out, so he needs to expand again here soon. But he could have had both golds easily, and then just now been taking like a 4th in his in-base natural, which is super safe, and he'd be maxed out on Roach Hydra and probably Viper, or just going for like a huge Muta switch or something. Like he'd be in so much better shape if he had just emphasized his economy early on when he could. But now Canary has the tech to do harassment damage if he wants to. He has a really strong standing army. And right now these Hydras are going to be a problem for Canary, but with proper force fielding, they're going to be negated, and Canary's going to be able to hold this. He just needs to hang on tight here.
Yeah, I think really what SoLJeRVictuS was scared. He was scared of a repost, an attack into another attack, the all-in into another all-in, but it's not going to actually happen here. Some nice force fields keeping a lot of the army out, but the Hydra's just still in range, getting a lot of damage. The Void Rays won't actually go down, though, because the Hydras are focused on the Zealots. Some other units here, and these Void Rays doing a massive amount of damage. The Immortal's still alive. Finally, Photon Overcharge comes down, but now there's a Colossus on the right-hand side. We'll be able to get some damage done. It does not quite have extended thermal lance, still about 70 seconds left, a minute, but the army almost has completely been pretty much routed here. They're on completely retreat, and as you were saying, you'd really love to see SoLJeRVictuS take another tech pack, finally getting Hive, maybe going Ultras. I'm not sure here. I'd really love to see him take a 4th and 5th base, though, possibly at the gold, both golds, or not both golds, or at the gold, and kind of both golds would be like the ballsiest move ever.
Yeah, the economic escalation of SoLJeRVictuS' game is so far from normal that now he's kind of found himself in an awkward position, where none of the normal Zerg tech switches are that strong because Canary's kind of played this awkward tech-heavy opening. So now Canary has Immortals, Void Rays, Colossus, and Phoenix, and like his other tech paths are immediately open to him. Yeah. All he needs is a Dark Shrine, a Templar Archives, or a Fleet Beacon, and he can build any Protoss unit he wants as soon as SoLJeRVictuS even thinks about doing that. And normally what you want is to hit with Roaches and Hydras, which are normally not that great, but bolster that with the Vipers to cancel out the Colossi, or you bolster it with a flood of Corruptors, or you hit with the Roach Hydra and then you flood back in with Broodlords before the Stargate tech is really in shape. But now none of those transitions is really that strong or potent, and his economy is just now at like 62 drones. He's on okay-ish shape, but his main is mined out basically completely. So he's on 3-ish bases right now, and near max, so he's not worried about building up a huge army, so that lack of economy isn't hurting him that much. But it's just a really awkward position for him to be in right now, especially because he has such a heavy Hydra army that if Canary actually manages to get out Storm, which he's not building towards right now, but Storm would be absolutely brutal to this army on top of the Colossus tech. But he's actually building more Void Rays instead of Colossi, so Canary's not playing this out as well as he could either. I'm not really sure how this game is going to turn out. Not that I should be able to read everything perfectly all the time. It just is weird. It's so non-standard. This is like avant-garde PvZ.
Yeah. As you were saying, High Templar's Storms would do so much damage. The Hydralisks not only have half the amount of health or just a little bit more than half the amount of health as the Roaches, but they also only have 1 armor to the 2 armor of the Roaches. So High Templars do so much damage. Now there's also the Vipers, but what did the Vipers abduct? As you were mentioning, also there's so many tech units. You can take Colossus, Void Ray, Immortal. Right now it's really going to be key. The Colossus are going to be doing a lot of damage here. Some nice force fields go down, and it looks like 2, 3 actually. Very nice. Both Colossus abducted. Mothership Core abduct doing a lot of damage. Another Colossus being abducted. A Blinding Cloud actually right on top of the units, but it won't. Does it get air? I don't know if it gets air, but basically, right there, SoLJeRVictuS pushing through 1-1 to 0 upgrades for Canary, actually +1 attack for Canary here, and this is completely on it. While at the same time in the main base, there is a run by 10 workers are killed. Zealots are running in, trying to do as much damage as they can, and looks like finally 1 more Immortal is going to be sniped for Canary, and SoLJeRVictuS is looking like he's in a fantastic position. All the tech, everything was just smashed by a Blinding Cloud and a couple very, very nice pulls. GG, SoLJeRVictuS takes Game 1 in this best of 1. Moving on.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.